Thanks, Jim. Good afternoon, everyone. You know, I'm a big believer in setting small goals, and I told myself that it would be a success today if I didn't trip going up the stairs. So, to not trip and then to see all of these beautiful faces smiling back at me on this gorgeous day, it truly is a great day today, and a day to celebrate all of us coming together. As Jim said, my name is Shamus Reid. I'm the chairperson of the Canadian Federation of Students BC, and we've got lots of students joining us in the crowd today. But on behalf of those of us who have final exams today, on behalf of those of us who would be here, but have to take every single work shift available to avoid overwhelming student debt, and on behalf of those of our 150,000 members who attend university or college outside of Metro Vancouver, I say thank you for being here today. Thank you for being here today, because it has never been harder to be a student from a modest income family in the province of British Columbia. In the last few years, the post-secondary education system has been faced with overwhelming challenges. In 2002, big corporations got $1 billion tax break, while we saw our tuition fees deregulated. This tax, called tuition fees, has more than doubled since 2002, and while tuition fees skyrocketed, student aid plummeted. By the time of the last provincial election, we had gone from having one of the best grants programs in the country to living in a province that provides the least amount of non-repayable financial aid in Canada, a full 60% below the national average. And that's not even the worst part. Students were promised in writing in the last election campaign that funding for student aid would be maintained. And in the 11 months since that election, student aid has been cut by another 28%. And we were sold a line on quality too. We were told that high tuition fees meant higher quality. Never mind that higher quality means nothing to the families who are now shut out of post-secondary education in our province. But of course, our class sizes keep getting larger, our TAs keep getting fewer and more stretched for time, our tutorials, lab sessions, and even classes keep getting cancelled for lack of resources. And students carrying record high levels of student debt are now forced to miss classes to take an extra work shift, or fall asleep at the back of the class because they worked the night shift just hours earlier. That's not quality, my friends. So let me preach to the converted for a second. These decisions, they were never about quality. How do we know that? Because this year, the provincial government will take in more revenue from students and our families through the tuition fees that we pay than it will take in from corporate income taxes. Some of you in the crowd have heard me say this before, but for those who haven't, let me repeat that. User fees for public education are being jacked up in our province so that the provincial government can give a handout to big business. Friends, these decisions were never about quality. They were about the haves having more. And it's this mindset that has forced unjust sacrifices not just onto students, but onto all sorts of British Columbians, onto too many British Columbians. But the powers that be made a big mistake. They forgot that British Columbians are a feisty bunch, and that when we're forced to make unjust sacrifices, we get together like we are today, and we push back. I am so proud to be standing before you today as a student alongside artists, seniors, low-wage workers, trade unionists, community service providers, environmentalists, and the list goes on and on and on, and hopefully will only grow larger after today. Because friends, when we see one of our grandparents struggling on a fixed income to pay for newly taxed goods on the HST, we don't say that's a problem for seniors. We say that's our problem. When we see artists lose the only stable funding they have to support their craft and our enjoyment of it, we don't say that's a problem for artists. We say that is our problem. And when we see a student drop out of school to pay the bills, we don't say that's a student problem. We say that is a problem for all of us here in British Columbia. That, my friends, is the mindset of a better BC. A BC that is caring, compassionate, inclusive, and driven by a sense of community. So thank you one last time for being here today and for representing the voices of those of us who can't be here today. Because for every single person here, there are hundreds in Prince George, in Terrace, in Kamloops, in Nelson, in cities and towns all across this great province who deserve a better British Columbia. And it's not even just BC who cares about the broad movement that we're building here. Our show of collaboration and hope today is also a rallying cry for those with compassion and empathy in provinces all across the country who face the same struggles and challenges that we do here. Today is not just about being angry and frustrated at the direction of our province, though we have cause to be. It's the start of something proactive. The Coalition to Build a Better BC. Through it, we have the strength, the vision, the momentum, and the diversity to come together and to hold our politicians accountable to create a province for all British Columbians. So on this gorgeous Vancouver day, I've already rolled up my sleeves because it's too hot, and I'm looking forward to getting to work with each and every one of you to build a better British Columbia. Thank you very much.